remember how it was when it was right. And I'm naive enough or idealistic enough to believe that we can get back there, that sound money will take us back there. I think that's what's changed from then to now. And you can see the outcome now. We all know now is broken. So let's go back and try like what it was then and see if we don't get a better outcome. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe we'll try it and it won't be a better outcome. I don't know. But I suspect, I think I've got enough evidence to support my view that it will be better.
Lawrence Lepard argues that Bitcoin is not just a speculative asset, it's a return to sound money and ethical capitalism. As global economies buckle under debt, fiat currency inflation, and widening inequality, Lepard sees a pivotal moment. We can either continue down a path of financial manipulation or embrace the stability and decentralization offered by Bitcoin and crypto. He draws a clear line between the past, where capital allocation was guided by savings and productivity, and the present, where money printing distorts reality. This isn't just economic theory, it's a moral case for Bitcoin. Ethereum and broader crypto innovations are part of this transition, building decentralized infrastructure to replace extractive financial systems. In this video, we unpack Lepard's arguments, explore how a Bitcoin rewires incentives, and why the future may depend on embracing decentralized digital assets.
Subscribe to Daily Bitcoin Trends for expert insights, real-time market updates, and proven crypto strategies. No hype, just smart analysis to help you make better decisions in crypto.
It's quite simple. It allows the proper allocation of capital. It allows people to save for their retirement without having their savings diluted. And it makes, I mean, one thing about being a Bitcoiner is you get really optimistic about how good the world could be based on this. And the longer you've been in it, the more your savings have grown and it starts to work. And you're like, wow, this is really great. It defunds the government because the government cannot take it away from you and they cannot tax it unless you sell it. And, they can't benefit from diluting your money because your money is undilutable. And therefore, they can't easily fund wars. And so I think wars decrease. And then I would say there's a part of the book where I talk about Alex Gladstein's, the third world cases where the unbanked and, remittances and so on and so forth. I mean, the financial system kind of worldwide is very predatory. I mean, they charge very high interest rates. They don't pay much in interest in terms of returns. If you're working in the United States and sending your money back to, your relatives in some poorer country, between 8 and 12% of that gets raked off by the Western Union or the money transfer services. And, there are people with a Lightning wallet and they get their family member a Lightning wallet and they send their earnings down to them and, it costs a couple of pennies, right? and I mean, these are billions of dollars of remittances. And so, being able to do that is a real benefit for those people. So in my view, it just makes the world a better place in a lot of different ways. It decreases the size of the finance sector. I mean, the whole finance sector is built around, kind of carry games and ways of extracting rents. And it's let the wrong people get extremely rich, the private equity people, et cetera, as a result of borrowing cheap and then, extracting rents out of other people. That stops. I mean, and the best and the brightest don't want to go into finance because they think it's a great way to make a ton of money. They think maybe I should go into engineering and figure out how to make things better and how more efficient. Because really, if you really look at what makes the world a better place, it's engineering and development. I mean, it's technology and doing things. I mean, the way for human beings to live better is to become more efficient, to do more with less. And that's generally a function of technology and engineering. It's not a function of financial crap. Shoving paper around, playing finance games, that doesn't necessarily make the world a better place. It might make some people very rich, and it has, but at the expense of others. I mean, look at there's a chapter in the book on the private equity game and how all these people, these guys went out and they bought up good, healthy companies. They levered the shit out of them. They paid themselves a dividend. They made a huge profit. The company went bankrupt. The pensions were wiped out and the employees got fired. I mean, is that good? Is that good for capitalism? Is that fair?
Absolutely not.
No. I mean, but that's what fiat money has allowed and encouraged.
Lepard's core argument hinges on Bitcoin's ability to restore truthful capital allocation. In the fiat system, central banks distort interest rates, pushing capital into bubbles and speculative ventures. In contrast, Bitcoin is a monetary protocol with a fixed supply, resistant to dilution and manipulation. Ethereum and Layer 2 solutions further extend this by enabling decentralized finance, drastically lowering remittance costs and expanding access to the unbanked. Lepard also points to Bitcoin's geopolitical implications. Governments can't easily tax or seize it, thus reducing the ability to fund endless wars. The crypto ecosystem allows for real economic freedom, especially in the developing world, where remittance corridors can bypass predatory intermediaries like Western Union. Ultimately, Lepard believes Bitcoin redirects innovation away from extractive finance and toward productive engineering. With crypto, value is created by building real things, not by playing debt games. This new paradigm has the potential to make the global economy more honest, equitable, and efficient.
That's absolutely right. I mean, that's the beauty of this whole system. I mean, somebody recently, I think it was actually a TradFi macro guy who's very good. I respect on Twitter. Said, hey, this Michael Saylor is just like the Hunt brothers. He's just trying to corner the Bitcoin market and shove the thing up to the moon. And I responded to him and I said, no, you're wrong. And here's why. One, the stock to flow on Bitcoin is a lot better than the stock to flow on silver. We're going to produce a lot more silver. And two, more importantly, the reason the Hunt brothers failed is that they changed the rules. CME came in and said liquidation only and did not allow new buyers and said only sellers. And the difference with Bitcoin, nobody can stop Bitcoin. Nobody can change Bitcoin. Nobody can change the rules. And nobody can outlaw the buying of Bitcoin. I mean, they can, but people with access to a computer all over the world can do it. And if any country were to outlaw it, then that country would be shunned. I mean, China's tried to outlaw it, although we believe there's still a lot of people in China buying it. So, yeah, the fact that it is rules-based. I mean, look, the price of money, and the book talks about this, the price of money, in my opinion, is the most important price in the world because it determines capital allocation. And the proper allocation of capital is what determines human well-being. And so if we want to have higher standard of living for everybody in the world, we have to allocate capital properly. And we can't do that when we've got a Federal Reserve that decides the interest rates are either, 20% or 10% or 0%. I mean, that's, we're on the seesaw of just crazy rate moves in both directions. And that shouldn't happen. If we had sound money, the interest rates would stabilize at a level that balances investment with savings. And that's the key. The interest rate should be the price of savings as against what's needed for investment. And then capital allocators can make the correct decision as to where things should go, where the money should be invested to increase productivity and output for everybody. And, there's just been so much money wasted on stupid shit as a result of, incorrect, capital pricing, right? And that's the bottom line. And if we all want, look, everybody wants, I know in the history in the past, it was all about the American dream, right? You wanted to be able to live better than your parents. Everything's getting better continuously. And sadly, I kind of see that slipping. I don't, I think my kids are going to have a hard time buying houses right now. I don't think, the American dream that I grew up with is fading or it's tattered. And, But that doesn't have to be. Technology is a great thing. It's getting better, et cetera, et cetera. And so, we can return to that. And we, every generation should live better than the prior generation because humans make progress. But, sadly, with a broken monetary system, we really dilute that progress a lot. So that's kind of the issue.
Lepard's thesis is both hopeful and urgent. The current financial order is unsustainable, but we now have the tools to replace it. Bitcoin and Ethereum represent more than assets. They are architectures for a new economic system rooted in transparency, scarcity, and individual sovereignty. The longer you hold Bitcoin, Lepard notes, the more optimistic you become. Not just about your financial future, but about the world's. As fiat-driven finance continues to reward rent-seeking and punish savers, crypto is forming a parallel system where incentives align with innovation and human progress. By transitioning to sound money, we empower future generations to build, save, and thrive. This is not a return to the past, but a leap forward, where digital assets are the foundation of a freer, more productive society. The question is no longer if crypto will change the world, but how quickly. Subscribe to stay ahead of this revolution, and let's build that better future together.